Hi folks, Steve Luck here. I was just want to have a quick explanation video, I suppose, explain a video, I guess, about my piece which is called Blue Dot. Blue Dots are one of the favourites that people really seem to enjoy when I'm performing live. And it's got a very kind of particular atmosphere about it. I was just going to talk a little bit about the inspiration behind the composition and maybe do a little demonstration of it so that you get the idea. And then you can go away and watch the whole piece on YouTube or Facebook or wherever you're watching this as well. The inspiration behind the piece came from a really famous photograph. There's a photograph which is known as Pale Blue Dot. It was taken by a NASA spacecraft called Voyager 1 that set off from Earth in 1977. It was launched, and it's flown across the whole sort of length and breadth of our solar system. It's kind of, it's flown such a long way through space. When it got to the kind of outer edges of the solar system, they sent some instructions to it to turn around and take a photograph of the Earth. And it was this photograph that was, the distance involved, I think something like 3.8 billion miles away when it took the photograph. And you see just the Earth kind of suspended in a little sunbeam. It's like a pixel wide. It's like a really kind of, it's from such a long way. It's sort of an exercise in kind of the ultimate in getting a bit of perspective, I suppose, from that kind of distance. And it's inspired a lot of thought and a lot of kind of philosophizing about it. That most famously the physicist Carl Sagan wrote about. I've got a little quote from him on here. He said of this image, "There is perhaps no better demonstration of the folly of human conceits than this distant image of our tiny world, our posturings, our imagined self-importance, the delusion that we have some privileged position in the universe are all challenged by this pale point of light." And it's that thought really. It's that kind of that image that sort of stuck with me and was kind of in my mind as I was writing this. So I started to think a little bit about space and about kind of what it's like. Famously that there's no sound in space. So it's like, how do you make a piece out of the idea of doing nothing? Well, you can't make a piece of music that doesn't have any sound. The space thing is that there's no molecules, there's nothing for the air, atoms, or there's nothing for the sound wave to travel along. So we don't hear anything. So I played it on this piano when I made the recording, and inside here there's some felt that goes down in between the hammers and the strings, so it makes for a kind of really quiet, kind of intimate sound. So I've used a felted piano for the composition. And the first thing that sort of came to mind was trying to get something, like when I was thinking about space, we're thinking about planets kind of orbiting around, or sometimes it might be satellites or spaceships orbiting around things. So it kind of came up with a circular orbital theme. This is a kind of ostinato in terms of music technology, music terminology, I should say. An ostinato is just a repetitive musical figure that keeps coming back around. And this one has a particular shape to it. It sounds like this. So this figure just kind of loops round. And in terms of the pitches, it's in a major key, which makes it kind of strong and solid and kind of reliable, I guess, and a consistency about it. I'm just going to do a quick demo of the difference between that and if it was a minor key. It does feel kind of, to me this one, the major one sounds, just kind of, there's a kind of brightness about it, and there's a solidity and a reliability about it. And I'm just going to change it to the minor by doing this. If you just let that settle for a minute, it becomes much more mysterious and maybe even menacing, or I wasn't really after menacing for this. It's kind of it's a poignant sort of reflection, but it's not sad. So major key, solid, reliable. It's got a circular kind of shape. It starts in one place, it goes down, it climbs up, it jumps up above, and then returns back to where it began, and it just keeps going round. And the pedal makes a difference to the sound as well. So then after this is established for a little while, there's some come in above. I'm going to play them with the left hand over here, and it's just representing points of light in the sky. Maybe some stars. So that's the kind of opening of the piece, you know, that's how it begins, with those kind of, you know, that repetitive, trying to think about an elliptical sort of orbit shape, I guess, and then these points of light like stars. After that's kind of established itself, there's some low chords that come in. So on top of this ostinato that keeps going, there's some widely spaced, see, I'm stretching about as far as I can stretch it. It's a tenth, and there's a bit of a distance between them, so I suppose there's a kind of hint about the scale of it by the wideness of the chords, and there's also it's a very sort of warm and sort of comforting kind of sound as well. It's very gentle and just switching and then back again. So that all goes together like this. Here's the ostinato, and then the chords arrive on top. Pedals down a lot, so there's a lot of kind of, you know, extra reverberation going on the strings of the piano. On the strings that aren't being played, they kind of shimmer a little bit. That kind of creates a spacey sort of atmosphere too. So that sort of continues for a bit, and then it sort of builds to a sort of a small climactic point, I suppose, in the middle, and then switches to the second ostinato figure, which arises. This is a bit more widely spaced. And it begins with that root and fifth and the octave, and then it goes, and then begins again. Those notes are kind of those high notes. It reminds me of kind of electronic bleeps on the spacecraft, maybe on the bridge or something. And it's monitoring something outside. So anyway, there's those, and then we get some more widely spaced chords. So we get this. And it begins to rise up these chords. There's a rising progression up here. And it keeps coming. I don't know, Moonrise is it's sort of hinting at that, I suppose. So it's a meditative solo piano piece. It's kind of meditating on this perspective that we gain by looking at things from afar. Hope you enjoyed the explanation of the video. Now go and check out the track on Spotify or Apple Music. I'll put the link in the comments. Thanks for watching.